Once upon a time, in a land where the sun never fully set, there was a small village surrounded by the vast dark forest. The villagers often spoke in hushed tones about a magical golden tree hidden deep within the forest. Legend said that this tree could grant one wish to anyone brave enough to find it. But the forest was perilous, filled with thorny vines, shadowy beasts, and an eerie fog that whispered fears into travelers' ears. In this village lived a young girl named Leora, whose name meant light. Leora's family was struggling, and her mother had fallen gravely ill. The village healer shook his head sadly and said, "There is nothing more we can do." But Leora refused to accept this. She believed that there had to be a way to save her mother. Clinging to the stories of the golden tree, she resolved to find it, no matter how dangerous the journey. Before she left, her grandmother handed her a small lantern with a tiny flame flickering inside. "This flame will guide you," her grandmother said, "but be warned, it will only stay lit if you don't let despair snuff it out." With the lantern in hand, Leora stepped into the dark forest. At first, the path seemed manageable. Leora's small lantern cast a warm glow, illuminating the way. She hummed softly to herself to keep her spirits up, but the deeper she went, the darker and colder it became. Soon she encountered her first challenge. The fog began to thicken around her, swirling in strange patterns. It whispered to her, "You are too small. You are too weak. Turn back before it's too late." Leora froze, her heart pounding. The whispers seemed to echo every fear she had ever felt. But then she remembered her mother's smile, and she whispered back, "I will not fail. My hope is stronger than your lies." As if responding to her determination, the flame in her lantern grew brighter, cutting through the fog and guiding her forward. As she continued her journey, she came across a fox trapped in a hunter's snare. Its leg was caught, and it whimpered softly. Leora hesitated. She was in a hurry, but she couldn't leave the creature behind. Carefully, she worked to free the fox, soothing it with gentle words. Once the trap was undone, the fox stretched its leg and looked up at her. "You have shown me kindness," it said. "I will guide you past the thorny vines ahead." True to its word, the fox led her through a tangled patch of brambles, ensuring she didn't get scratched or snagged. When they reached the other side, the fox said, "Remember, kindness keeps the flame alive." Then it disappeared into the woods. Night fell, and the forest grew colder. Leora heard growls in the distance. Shadowy beasts with glowing red eyes emerged from the darkness, circling her. Her lantern's flame flickered as fear gripped her heart. She wanted to run, but she knew she couldn't turn back now. Summoning all her courage, she stood tall and said, "I carry light within me, and no shadow can take that away." The beasts lunged toward her, but the flame in her lantern flared brilliantly, driving them back into the darkness. Finally, after what felt like days of walking, Leora emerged into a clearing. In the center stood the golden tree, its branches reaching high into the sky, and its leaves shimmering like sunlight. Leora approached it, her legs trembling but her heart steady. "Child," the tree said in a gentle yet powerful voice, "you have faced your fears and kept your light alive. What is your wish?" Leora knelt before the tree and said, "I wish for my mother to be healed." The tree's golden leaves glowed brightly, and a single leaf floated down into Leora's hands. "Take this leaf home," the tree said. "It carries the hope you've nurtured on your journey." Leora thanked the tree and hurried back to her village. She placed the golden leaf in her mother's tea, just as the tree had instructed. By morning, her mother had awakened, healthy and smiling. The villagers marveled at Leora's courage and asked her how she had achieved such an impossible feat. She simply replied, "I never lost hope. even when it seemed darkest. From that day on, the dark forest no longer seemed as frightening to the villagers. Leora's story reminded them that hope is the brightest light of all, capable of guiding anyone through the shadows. And so, Leora and her mother lived happily ever after, spreading light and hope wherever they went. The moral of the story is, hope is a powerful light that can guide you through even the darkest and most challenging times. By staying courageous, kind, and resilient, you can overcome obstacles and achieve what seems impossible. Enjoyed this story? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales.